Welcome to another edition of Inside Medicine. I'm your host, Doug Geinzer, and we are here in the studio today with Brian Williams, president of 5 Star Economy, an online reputation management company based right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. For those of you that are new to Inside Medicine, we broadcast live in the studio here each and every week, and we bring in entrepreneurs, we bring in folks that are doing innovative things in the healthcare arena, those developing medical technologies, medical equipment, those bringing in medical travelers from all around the world, and just doing good things to advance healthcare right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Got a great announcement today. We're going to be moving the show, the podcast, from Friday to Thursday in the upcoming weeks here. We did a little study over the holiday weekend, or over the holiday, and we sent out an email on a Thursday and found that it got better response. So we pulled our membership and our viewers and our audience, and everybody seemed to like a Thursday delivery. So starting in the upcoming weeks, we'll start delivering on Thursday. In the meantime, if you're watching this on one of our distribution channels, whether that's YouTube, Facebook, LasVegasHeals.org, Heals.news, or you received the video in our Heals headline newsletter, you can engage with us live at any given time. You could go to VegasVideoNetwork.com/live. We've got a little chat box there. You can engage. It's non-intrusive, and you could ask the questions that you'd like of our host. But in the meantime, let's get back, and we're going to welcome Brian Williams, the president of 5 Star Economy, to the studio. Brian, welcome to Las Vegas Heals.
Doug, thanks for having me today.
Great to have you here. So couldn't help but notice on your business card, it says that you are the president, as well as an Eagle Scout. So why does it have Eagle Scout on there?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. So I am actually an Eagle Scout and an active Scoutmaster. I talked to the boys in the troop about how being an Eagle Scout and going through the scouting program can really carry throughout their entire lives. And it's one of the few things that if they earn it as a young boy, they're going to stick with it and keep it on their resume and their biographies and things like that. So I decided to put my words where my money where my mouth is, so to speak, and it's a real good conversation opener, and it's a surprisingly amount of people that know about scouting and respect that the Eagle Scout rank, and it opens up conversation. It's a good conversation piece for us.
That's great. That's great. So we're going to talk about reputation management. Obviously, it is impacting the healthcare arena like no tomorrow. Folks are going to what we call Dr. Google, and they go to Dr. Google to ask questions and kind of self-diagnose, which is a little bit scary in itself. But then after that, they go, hey, let me go check out the specialty or the subspecialty that I need to look into, and they start looking at these ratings. That's the business that you're in. So, but before we get a little bit started with that, tell us a little bit about yourself. So you're a marketer by trade.
That's right.
What brought you into this space? How did you see the opportunity? And give us a little bit of your background.
So the short story is I started my career in 1994 as a digital marketer. Was
digital marketing around back in 1994?
Barely. You may not have had an email address back then. So
AOL.
AOL. Maybe AOL or CompuServe if you remember those days. Yep. So I started my career in digital marketing, actually working for Toyota Corporation. And from there, I've had a blessed experience working with all kinds of businesses throughout e-commerce and things like that. And in about a few years ago, I started noticing a shift in buyer behavior, and that's fast forwarding obviously pretty quickly here, and noticed that reputation and especially online reviews is having such a major influence and a major impact on all kinds of businesses, and so I essentially went to my digital laboratory, as I call it, and attempted to back a number of years ago to create a solution that we could offer to help businesses get their arms around this and really understand how to utilize reputation to their advantage. And I liken it to when we started our businesses, most of us didn't go out and spend $1 million on an advertising budget to get the word out about our companies. Most of us used our reputation and word of mouth. And today we can use that same startup type mentality, startup marketing type mentality, but amplify it online with all these various places where it matters most, where consumers are looking at your reputation. It's visible to everybody. And so we're kind of going backwards in a way, in a good way, to using our reputation to promote our businesses. And that's why we created this.
So we've seen it. I use Amazon almost daily. It's Amazon Prime delivers to my house almost every single day.
You and me both.
So it's commonplace there. It's moving into the medical arena. What is that doing to shift marketing strategy within healthcare?
Yeah. So like you said, people are going to the Google doctor, right? To look and diagnose themselves or they're going to Google searching for a particular type of medical practitioner, right, for a solution that they want to solve. And what's happened is, and you mentioned Amazon. So Amazon, look, they trained us all. 22 years ago, they invented basically the 5-star online review platform that all of us have become accustomed to using. And since then, Google and other businesses like Yelp and Healthgrades and ZocDoc and all these other places have come up into the foray, and they're basically applying the same type of strategy that Amazon uses on all of us when we buy simple products to all of our medical practices now. And so the customer's preconditioned, like you said, to base a purchase decision on whether or not that business, or in this case, that physician or medical practice, has a 5-star reputation or no reputation, or worse yet, a bad reputation. And just like on Amazon, you probably, Doug, wouldn't choose to purchase a product that had anything less than at least a 4-star reputation, primarily because you can, right? If you go to Amazon looking for anything, you have lots of choices. And the same thing now holds true with our businesses. And because when you search for, on your phone or on the computer for any kind of business, the first thing you're presented with now, oftentimes, most of the time, are those stars. And so the customer's looking for that. The patient is looking for that before they make a decision to buy.
And we're going to go online later on in the show, and we're going to really dig in and see what it does. So in the meantime, you saw this problem. You saw this, the 5-star ratings coming out, and you created 5-Star Economy. Tell us a little bit about the company and the problem that you solve.
So the problem I really solve is a couple-fold. One is, it's frustrating, right? Because for the first time in maybe the history of marketing and advertising, the business, the practice, is no longer in total control of their message. It's actually being controlled in a lot of ways for them or against them in some cases by patients, by competitors, by who knows who, right? Because pretty much anybody can leave an online review, and that's a frustrating thing for business owners and a frustrating thing for medical doctors, right? It's like, hey, why is it that anybody can say anything about me and I don't have any control over this, whether I've done work with them or not done work with them? So one of the main reasons that we went to develop a solution for this is like, how can we help these physicians get some control over their message and also present the real story, right? Because look, 99% of all physicians' patients are happy, are satisfied. That's why they keep going back to them, right? But it oftentimes appears as if the negative stuff is what shows up high up on the search engines and high up in the...
I think what they say is, one person will say something good about an organization, but 7 will talk about the bad stuff. So we're more prompt to talk about bad experiences.
That's right. And you mentioned you use Amazon stuff. I mean, how many reviews do you leave versus how many reviews do you read?
Yep.
And most people read a lot more reviews than they post. And the only time they really post a review is either because they're feeling motivated to, and oftentimes it's because they're not happy.
Yeah.
Not because, and so when 99% or more of your customers are pleased, well, how do you get them to actually agree to post something positive about your practice and then actually follow through and do that so that where it matters?
So does 5-Star Economy kind of help motivate the users to leave more positive? Is that part of the secret sauce?
I'll tell you what the secret is. We motivate through what we call the human nature of one human being wanting to help another human being.
Sure.
So, for example, Doug, if I came to you and said, "Look, Doug, I could really use your help. Do you have a minute to listen to what I need?" As long as I'm not asking you for money, right, or for you to help me move, you're probably going to listen to me for at least a minute, right? And so that's kind of what we're doing here with reputation marketing. Is we're enabling and facilitating our medical clients to humbly ask for help from their patients. Say, look, it would really mean a lot to me and my staff if you would just help me out for a minute. Would you mind hearing me out? And we get a really good connection that way. So the motivation is really that human nature to want to help another human being.
And I think other industries have really adopted this. When you go and you buy a car, they're very good at their follow-up of, hey, you're going to get the survey.
Yeah.
Can you make sure that you fill it out the right way?
That's right.
And so they're
almost aggressive with it. I mean,
they are aggressive with it.
Yeah.
So this is, there's reputation management, and then there's reputation marketing. So you kind of assist in both of those. And Scott, if you could pull up the reputation marketing funnel, I think that'd be a great, so we've got this little diagram up here. Walk us through this, because I think this is important for our readers, our users, our members to understand.
Yeah, and as we talk a little bit about this, for the listeners, look, there's things here that you can implement and take action on within your practice. I mean, this is a glimpse of a summary of all the services that we provide, but it starts really with inviting your patients to leave feedback, and that is where the problem typically begins. Is a lot of people that we talk to, a lot of doctors say, look, we ask our patients to leave feedback, we ask our patients to leave reviews, they never follow through. And so you have to have a good mechanism to not only make the ask, but then remind them, and sometimes repeatedly, in a polite and positive way, to leave that review for you. So you can use email for that. You can use text messaging for that if you have permission from your patient to do so. And there's other tools that you probably have. You can even use the phone to do that if you feel it. Most business owners and most doctors don't have the time for that, but there's different ways that you can remind people to leave feedback. And then once you have that sort of happening, the next thing that we recommend is capture that feedback first privately yourself, rather than sending that feedback directly to, let's say, HealthGrades or directly to Yelp, because for a couple of reasons. One, you then get to start filtering what gets seen online, as opposed to letting the directories filter that for you, and that's a big frustration point. Yeah. The other reason is this: if there is a problem in any part of your practice, whether it's an issue with an employee, an issue with service offering, waiting times, whatever they don't like the furniture in the front lobby. I mean, we see it all. Whatever that problem is, wouldn't it be nice to be able to see that before it goes online, and then have an opportunity for you or your practice manager or someone in your staff to deal with that, fix it, turn basically lemons into lemonade, and really win over that patient for life.
Yeah, I think Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, said it best, and he said, "Customer complaints are the school books from which we learn."
So that's what we recommend as a second process. Once so don't just send them directly to post online, and then and then if it's positive, then direct them where you'd like them to take that next step. And you've already captured the feedback, right? They've already typed it into some form on your website or what have you. At that point, invite them where you want them to cut and paste it, right? If you need to build your reputation up on Google, then invite them to go to Google. If you need to build your reputation up on HealthGrades, and by all means, invite them to post on HealthGrades. And you then decide where it matters most for your business, and we'll show you some examples of where it might matter for your practice. And then the final step, and this is the part that I really love, is promote it. Right,
That's the part we're excited about. How do you market it?
Go to the top of the forest and the top of the trees in the forest and yell it out. Right, hey, we got another 5-star review, and take those really good nuggets of content and promote them all over the place. And one thing to just note is that some of the most trusted brands that exist in life today are Google and Yelp. Yep. And like it or not, even when other people are posting comments on these services, if it carries the Yelp logo, or if it carries the Google logo, or you mentioned the Amazon logo, we intrinsically as human beings are conditioned to trust those brands because they're big and we see them all the time. So that's where it matters, is put the positive message and promote the positive message along with the brands that already has the trust.
One of the, this morning I was cruising through some of these websites, taking a look at it, and I saw that one actually has the comment section and then a button to click to embed. And I went, that's pretty innovative, because now you could grab it as it is and embed it on your website. And it's fun watching this all transition from, what we've deemed social media before in the past and the sharing of things to now all of a sudden this is coming into reviews and this managing your reputation. And it's becoming a whole new marketing strategy. It's really changed the game a bit.
Yeah, and I liken it to, look, reputation is sort of a foundational piece of your brand identity, your marketing now. And so whatever the practice is doing to promote themselves, whether it's flyers, whether it's going to events, whether it's advertising on more traditional type media, billboards and television and print, or whether it's advertising online, of course, at the end of the day, we know over 90% of whoever's seeing their messages are going to go usually on one of these devices, right? Because it's in our pocket or 12 inches away from us at any given moment of time. And they're going to look them up on the phone. And the first thing they're going to look for, and the first thing they're going to be attracted to, are, do they have those 5 shiny stars or don't they? So it's really a foundational piece of marketing in our point of view, and will help add power to everything that the practice is doing to build their business.
Let's do this. Let's go live. Let's go. Okay. Let's go to Google and give us a couple examples of how this works.
Okay, so I went ahead and I did a search right before we started here for OBGYN in Las Vegas, right? It's a common medical practitioner that is hired by lots of people, right?
Of course.
So what happens here is the first thing that stands out here,
the
Doug,
Google
is what?
ads.
The Google ad. Well, the Google ad is on top, right up here. So you have an advertiser, but right below that, what do you see down in here, right?
Yeah.
Start saying stars, right? And so that's where all of us are conditioned. Google knows this. That's why they put them there, right?
Of course, yeah.
So they're basically placating to their customer base. And so you've got, 3 OBG practitioners here. One with a 2.4 star rating, one with a 4.8 star rating, and one with a 5-star rating. One with 10 reviews, one with 21, one with 8. Right?
Yeah.
What's going on in the customer's mind? Well,
I'm going to avoid that one with the low stars.
There you go.
I don't want to go there. Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. And the other thing that we're seeing happening is Google is starting to reward businesses that have a quantity of reviews and a quality of reviews.
So they're bringing this into their search algorithm.
They're bringing it into their search algorithm.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's changing the SEO game for those of you that this is not an SEO conversation, but it is changing that game as well quite a bit. Now, here's the other thing that I find fascinating. For almost every type of medical practice, the first and second and third organic listings right below their MAPS listings, which we just talked about, are review directories. Look here. The first one's Health Grades, which is essentially a review directory for practitioners. The second one are the best OBGYN doctors in Las Vegas, according to what? Yelp. Which is one of the most trusted brands on the planet.
And it's crazy that Yelp is getting into the medical space. Kind of like I saw Angie's List jumped in.
They
Are
did.
you kidding me?
They
this
did.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
But obviously it does.
Sense.
Yeah.
The customer.
For the consumer, which is the person making the buying decision.
That's right. So this is huge because let's say you click on, just click on it for, it's a little bit off script, right?
Yeah,
but let's do it. So you click on Yelp, and how is Yelp organized? It's organized by highest reputation according to the Yelp rating to lowest. So the number one here has got the most amount of and the most positive reputation, followed by number 2, 3, 4. So these practitioners are getting the lion's share of the organic traffic and the leads because Google is driving it to Yelp.
So the more you feed this, the more it feeds you.
That's right.
Self-perpetuating. That's right. Beautiful. So interesting.
It's really powerful. And the businesses that have grabbed onto this are
practitioners really need to embrace this model. It's going to drive how patients find them, and the better their reviews and the better patient experience, which is another area that we focus on. We did the hospitality and healthcare conference over at UNLV, and it's all about how do you bring great customer service into your practice, and this is where the patients are going to say, I received great customer service.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Very interesting. Cool. So let's show us a couple more examples.
All right. So I did another search right before here, and this is all live. So this is Las Vegas dentist, right? Another type of medical practice. And here, it's a lot more competitive, apparently, because there's 4 Google advertisers
and this
right
is
at
very
the
much
top.
consumer-driven. The dental space
much.
is way more competitive than healthcare itself.
100%.
Medical. Yep.
So let's take a look at these ads, right? You have 4 ads, 4 people paying big bucks, probably $20 to $30 a click for this type of traffic on Google. And that's a click to their website. That's not a paid customer yet. That's just per click. So you can imagine how much money these advertisers are spending to be there. But look, one of the things I noticed is one of these advertisers has figured out how to use reputation in their Google ads. And that's the one that's going to get the click.
So you could bring your reputation marketing into your Google ads now.
Absolutely. But only if you have enough reviews, and you're only going to want to do that if they're good.
Of course.
Right. So here you have a dentist with 4.8 star rating, which is fantastic, and 65 reviews. There is no question if I'm going to click on one of these ads. A lot of people complain, well, how do I get people to click on my ads? Or, how do I get my cost per click down? Well, this is a great way to do that. So if you are spending money here. Now, again, scrolling right below that, same kind of thing we saw with the OBGYNs. You've got other practitioners with reputation being highlighted.
So this one at the bottom obviously knows what they're doing. They've got 141 reviews. They have motivated their patients to give reviews.
100%. And what's the first organic link below that? Best of Yelp again.
Interesting.
So for those medical practitioners that are thinking that the typical surveys and all that are so important, I would say from a business building perspective, you've got to pay attention to Yelp. You've got to pay attention to Google reviews because this is where your patients are going to for sure.
So let's jump into the question that I'm sure a lot of our viewers, our members, our physicians out there are asking. What happens when I get a negative review? What do I do? Do I just crawl under the covers and act like it didn't happen? How do I address that?
Well, what most practitioners do is they call their attorney and they get really, really upset. And they want to sue the person that left the review. They want to sue Yelp, and they go crazy. And I understand because it's a personal attack, right, on that individual. Sure. And that's not what to do because, number one, Yelp's won every single lawsuit that's been brought against them for this stuff. You're not going to get anywhere with suing the person leaving the review, even if you can identify it. So the best way to respond, okay, if it ever happens that someone does post something negative on one of these review sites is to be ahead of it, get in front of it, right? And my standard response for pretty much any kind of review, well, before I even say that is, don't defend it. Like, don't get on the defensive. You're not responding to the person who left the review. Think about
responding to an audience.
You're responding to the audience of hundreds or thousands who are reading the response and making a decision whether you're someone that they want to do or not want to do business with. Yeah. Right? Do I want this person treating me for something very sensitive like dental work or OBGYN work, right? Or do I not want this person treating me because they're a hothead or all they do is get on the defensive of something, when the littlest thing goes wrong? So don't do that. What you should do is acknowledge saying, hey, we're so sorry you didn't get a 5-star experience that we strive to deliver to all of our patients. Please contact myself or contact my practice manager. Here's my personal cell phone number. Here's my personal email address. Call us. We'd love to have an opportunity to make it right. Yep. Because, again, you're responding to the public. You're probably never going to hear from the person that left that review ever again anyway. Yeah. So think of it that way.
It's interesting, so medical providers are probably the last to come to this digital party. They have not needed it before in the past because we'd all be given as consumers the almighty directory. Here's where you could go. But now there's this healthcare consumerism that's going on, and now people have choices. And they're going up, they're finding things, and, websites, you've got HealthGrades, you got ZocDoc, all of these groups that are out there. And, as I've had these conversations with some of our doctor members, some of the first things are, that's just a database of dead doctors. That's a bad database. They don't qualify them. And they get on that defensive, and we typically go, how do you embrace it? Because it's here. Yeah. It's not going to change. You're not going to be able to sue these large organizations and win. So embrace it and figure out what you could do to improve, to manage your reputation. And, I think a lot of folks now go to, let's use HealthGrades. If we could pull that website up, at the end of the day, they are probably one of the largest databases out there that's specific. So they're not a Yelp that has a bunch of restaurants, and they're specific to healthcare. And as we saw, they're highly optimized. So consumers are going there. And let's walk us through this and talk to us a little bit about this.
Yeah. So most industries now, and this is something that's important for the medical industry to understand, has their own specific review directory or directories that are unique to them. So in the medical community, HealthGrades is one of those directories. And they are there to basically help the customer make a choice of who to see for treatment. I will say, though, that, and I don't want to make sure I don't miss this point, is as important as these niche-specific or industry-specific review directories are, and HealthGrades is one of them, Google and Yelp are paramount for every type of practice because those always show up top, and the customer knows that from all of their other experiences. So even though you may not think that Yelp is worthwhile because it's a restaurant review site or something like that, because it's showing up, as you just proved, for medical, take it seriously. So with HealthGrades, again, this is a way for it's an opportunity really for the practitioner to get their customers to go to HealthGrades, learn about HealthGrades, and leave positive feedback about them. And you can see pretty much all of these providers that are showing up here have lots of reviews, and they have lots of good reviews because most of them have like a 4 to 5-star rating. I don't think any of them has any less than that. And so if you're not playing in this field, and this comes up as the Google search result link for OBGYN practitioners in Las Vegas, you're just not going to, you're not going to get the business. I mean, it's just the bottom line. So, and the only way to get into these spots is to have quantity and quality of reviews.
Interesting. What other mistakes? You're a digital marketing guy before you got into reputation management. What other mistakes are healthcare practitioners making out there in the marketing and advertising space? Just be frank about it, and what mistakes are being made.
Well, obviously, one of the mistakes is not using your reputation in all of your communication. That's clear. We've already talked about that a lot. I would say the biggest mistake is not taking the time to really understand, well, what is it that a potential patient of mine really wants? What's the problem that they need to solve? And how can I deliver in a very approachable manner a solution to that problem, whether or not they end up becoming a patient of mine? And I see very few medical practices utilizing what we take for granted in the marketing world. We call give value first, and then you might get value back. And so we utilize techniques such as giving valuable information as an easy one for medical practitioners, right? So with whatever you can do within the governing boards of medicine to deliver free and public information that speaks to solving the problems of your ideal patients, and give that out there, put that in your advertising, put that on your websites, put that in your social media. That's what you should be promoting, because when I'm looking for especially a medical practitioner, I've got a problem. I've either got pain, I've got a fear, maybe something, right? Is a lot of times when it starts. And so solve that pain, solve that problem by giving me some information that you have, right? If you were think about it, if you were sitting down with a family member and I came up to you and said, I'm really bugged about my dull teeth, right? What would you tell your family member to do? How would you explain it? Or, man, I've got this pain that's been in my side for a month. What should I be doing? What should I be? Give advice like you would give a family member in your advertising in the form of documentation, in the form of video information. Promote that, and that's going to make you the expert. That's going to make me and your potential patients want to hire you.
It's funny. My dentist makes me sign an agreement that says he will treat every patient like a loved and trusted family member, and that you will give him the trust to treat you that way.
Brilliant.
And it builds that bond.
I think we have the same dentist.
Yeah. So
brilliant.
Very good. So you're publishing a book. It's coming out here in the next month or so. Tell us a little bit about this book, and I think our readers will be able to get a free copy. Where do they go to get that?
Thank you for mentioning it. So here, I actually brought some of these for your staff. So this is one of our little promotional gimmicks or tchotchkes. We created a notebook before. There's no content yet, but it's a notebook for you and your staff. This is the cover. So the book's called How to Grow Your Business by Using Your 5-Star Reputation. This applies to medical practitioners and other types of businesses. The book comes out in March. And if you go to 5-Star Economy, I'll spell it out, FIVE, stareconomy.com, you can just simply provide a name and an email address and get on our list, and we'll send you a free copy of a digital copy when the book gets released. And it'll walk you through, really step by step, all the things that you need to do or should be thinking about doing as a practice to implement some of these strategies that we've talked about to start using your 5-star reputation and start getting your happy patients to leave 5-star reviews for your practice. And it's a great way to get started.
So if people want to get in touch with you, best way to do that?
Call our office.
There you go. What's the number?
The number is 877-302-1737, and one of our staff members will take really good care of you.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to wrap up the show. I want to thank all of our viewers that joined us live here today, and all of those that will be watching this on one of our multiple distribution channels, whether that is YouTube, Roku, iTunes, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. We're out there everywhere. But thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing everybody next week, and you make it a great weekend.